Thank you, and a big hello from London. Mark is away today, so I'll be commentating from London on my own. Okay, so this week we have two sets of technical patterns to look at. We have our usual weekly key reversals, and in addition to these we have, hot off my charting screens, the monthly key reversals as well for the month of May. I'll start off with the weekly key reversals. Okay, so this past week we had in the currencies weekly key reversals up in euro against the Hungarian forint, and intriguingly, even though we cannot trade it, US dollar against the Russian ruble spot and US dollar against the Russian ruble 1 month NDF as well. How's that work? Well, I don't know, other than it has happened. In the financials, we had a weekly key reversal down in the Chinese Shinex Composite Index, though not in the CSI 300 nor the Shanghai Composite Index. So no real confirmation of the move in those. Back in the Shinex, there has not been a follow-on lower this week. In fact, we've seen the complete opposite, with a move higher, thus suggesting this one key reversal without any confirmation in other related markets is likely an aberration. What was not an aberration was the weekly key reversal up seen in New York coffee futures last week, which was not reflected in London coffee futures. The New York contract followed on higher this week with a daily key reversal up on Tuesday, the first day it was opened this week, and even today we're higher. This opens up all sorts of possibilities, interesting possibilities for the action from last November to be a head and shoulders continuation pattern instead of a head and shoulders top pattern. We also saw a weekly key reversal up in LME 3-month nickel. This has been an interesting metal, which you already know from the recent wild actions unless you've been living in a cave since back in March. I've detailed this further in my metals video from last week, but suffice it to say, this metal had a brick wall of support at 26,000 over the last 3 weeks, and the reactionary weekly key reversal up broke a significant downtrend. This week, well, we've seen a blowout on Monday on the top side, making new highs not seen since the start of May, but also creating a shooting star pattern, type 1 bearish, leading to lower prices since, such that we are back where we started last week. Just keep a watch out for that $26,000 level. Finally, for those that follow certain stocks, we had weekly key reversals up in both GameStop and AMC stocks in the US. Okay, next, the monthly key reversals. We had monthly key reversals down for May in euro against Romanian lei in the currencies. In the financials, we had an interesting monthly key reversal up in Japanese Osaka JGB futures. It was interesting as it came as a delayed, but before I go any further, please bear in mind these are long-term patterns. Anyway, we had a reactionary delayed response to the monthly key reversal down seen back in March. I'll be interested to see how this plays out, as I have a suspicion this may turn out to be a huge indecisive behavior on a grand scale. We also had a monthly key reversal up in UK FTSE stock index futures, the only stock index futures that showed such a response. This happened just under the recent highs, as well as the January 2020 high, and I have a suspicion that this is a concerted attempt to try a break higher through what has been this year an overhead solid looking cap in the 7630 to 7640 area. This is one to watch. Meanwhile, in the commodities, London cocoa futures had a monthly key reversal down, which was not shown in the New York contract. However, this did have a constituent, a weekly key reversal down in London made 2 weeks ago. So far this week, no follow through lower, just a reaction back up, though within a wide band within which the market has been previously trading in. London sugar futures had a monthly key reversal up in May. This was not an unexpected turn higher, as there was a seminal day and weekly key reversal up made here 3 weeks ago, and this was just confirmation of what had become an interesting move higher. There was no such action in New York contract, but as I've stated in my weekly sugar videos, most recently this past Monday, the London contract is doing the running higher here in both its own contract and in the white sugar premium spread as well. We also saw a monthly key reversal down in May in New York cotton futures with a move lower this week already. But what I wanted to concentrate on to finish with is the ICE UK feed wheat futures. Here in recent days we've had some interesting patterns. To sum it up, 2 weeks ago the market reached up and achieved the topside target for a recent ascending wedge pattern. As soon as this was done, prices fell like a stone, making an outside week that week. Last week, they continued to move lower, approaching lows last seen in March, and thus making a monthly key reversal down. Now, I would like to read an extract from my weekly grains commentary on this contract, where I asked some questions about this fall. This was recorded last Friday, and I quote, "Firstly, is this a pullback or the beginning of a bearish phase? And secondly, how far will the drop fall?" Well, the answer to the first question is yes, it is still a pullback, but I would keep a wary eye on it. The answer to the second question is it depends. Sorry for being obtuse, but it does depend. Right now, all we have seen is a pullback that has punched down through the first significant line of support. There are other supports. End of quote. I then detailed some specific supports, but I continued later on in the same commentary, and I quote again. There's one other significant dynamic support that needs consideration to all these, and that is the medium moving average, currently at 280 even. If prices should fall to whatever level the medium moving average rises, then it would be worth reassessing the whole situation. End of quote. I'll leave you with these thoughts. I'm always happy to answer any direct questions with anyone who is interested, and with that I'll finish this section from London. I hope that you found these comments useful.